My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Spider-Man 2-pack, Spider-Man and Mary Jane Watson, exclusive only at Toys R Us. Now here we do have Spider-Man and Mary Jane in the packaging. You can see Spider-Man does come with additional hands, a masthead, and of course the Peter Parker head, which I'm really excited about. And then we also do get Mary Jane right here, and just really excited about getting this figure in hand. On the side of the package we have an image of Peter Parker in the new Spider-Man outfit. And then on this side we have a really beautiful image of Mary Jane. On the back of the box we have the promotional artwork for them, and a little bio says, though Mary Jane will always know Peter Parker as the boy next door, the rest of the world, he is better known by another name, Spider-Man. They could have worded that a little differently because there was a little awkward reading. But anyway, that's the box for you guys. What we're going to do now is take a little break, get these guys opened up, and then we'll go on to the rest of the review. So sit tight, everyone. So here we have Spider-Man and Mary Jane out of the packaging. The first figure we'll be having a look at is Spider-Man. So here we have Spider-Man out of the packaging, and I'm going to say he's one of my favorite Spider-Mans in my collection. Spider-Man, I don't know the proper term for it. But really liking the way Spider-Man came out. I really do like the detail on him. He has the same problems that you'd come to expect from this particular Spider-Man mold, but let's actually go on to his accessories first. And I'm going to pull off his head because this is an accessory. He does come with the Peter Parker head. Now on mine, I don't know if you can tell, but his eye is a little lazy here. He does have a lazy eye for the right eye. If you pose him from the side, it doesn't look too bad, but from straight on, it is fairly noticeable. He also does come with the Spider-Man mask, and I don't know if you can pick this up, but there's actually some texturing in these eyes, which is really cool. I do like that. It also looks like they use a dot matrix where they use that pixelated look for his eyes. So that looks really cool, really nice. I do like the way that came out. Other accessories that Spider-Man comes with, if we can just pull this off. He does come with a total of 3 sets of hands. We do get a pair of fist hands that Spider-Man comes with. He also does come with a pair of web shooting hands, which the left one came on him in packaging. And we also do get a pair of wall crawling hands, which I'm really glad that we got this hand, that we have these hands, because it just makes for awesome posing with Spider-Man. And switching the hands in and out is pretty easy. You just want to take the hand you're going to use and slide it on. Switching the heads is easy. We're going to put his mask on really fast. It's a really tight fit, but it does have a really nice look to it. If we can scoot his accessories off to the side. And let's actually have a look at Spider-Man's details. So as you'd expect, Spider-Man has the webbing pattern going on throughout his costume, which I'm going to say they're getting better at making the webs, although you can see right here on the neck it doesn't quite line up perfectly. As far as the paint goes, it does chip off fairly easy. You can see there's some paint right here starting to peel off, and then right here on the butterfly joint you can see some of the paint is also scraping off. Also right here, it's not too noticeable in the back, but it is worth pointing out that the paint does have the tendency to scratch off, and even here on the spider logo. I'm not really a fan of how they did this glowing spider. What they should have done is had a stencil for the white spider to simulate the glowing, and then put the black spider over that, because it doesn't really match up, and it looks terrible, honestly, because it just looks like they just airbrushed green on his chest and called it a day. I do like the way that this webbing looks. It's not as complicated as other Spider-Man figures or other Spider-Man costumes. It's just a single line and then the lines going off to the side. His belt piece is a little different. It's not the exact same that we've been seeing, because it does go up and back down. It almost makes like a double V. Like there's a V in the front and a V in the back. And then we get onto his boots, which, I don't know, I really dig these boots. Like, the way they come up to about a little past the knee and then come down to like mid-calf. It looks really nice. I do like that. And then again, Hasbro is getting better applying the webbing stencils. It's not as noticeable as it's been in the past, where the webs don't line up properly. And then right here on the shoulder, it looks like they didn't line up the red properly, so we have that empty space with the blue. So that's a little unfortunate. So what we're going to do now really fast is compare this new Spider-Man figure to the Pizza Spider-Man. So we'll have him right there. And we have Pizza Spider right here, and essentially they're using the same molds, although it looks like they're actually improving the molds, because this Spider-Man really can't put his arms down to his side all the way. This one seems to be able to put his arms a little bit lower. So essentially same mold. The only thing that's different is the head. This head seems smaller than this one. I actually prefer this head than this really big one. This was a really nice looking figure to start off with, but things do change. Another thing I want to point out about this particular Spider-Man figure, I have read and seen reports of his butterfly joint acting up. For mine, it moves perfectly fine, but that was only after I put him in the freezer for about 30 minutes, and that strengthened the joint, and I started moving it around. For this one, it moved around really fast after I got him out of the freezer. This one was scary because when I moved it, I heard a really loud snap, and I just assumed that I would have a Spider-Man with a broken arm, and you wouldn't be seeing this review. But the joint is all freed up, so do be careful. If you're going to get this Spider-Man, please note that he does have a problem with the butterfly joint. Don't use heat on this, because what you're doing with the heat is that you're bending the joint and it's going to tear easier. Put him in the freezer for about 30 minutes, then slowly work the joint. That's the best advice I can give you. But with that out of the way, let's actually go on to Spider-Man's articulation. He does have a ball jointed head, although it sits really tight on that ball joint, so the most we're going to get out of the ball joint is just a left and right movement. But he does also have a hinge, which lets him look that far up, that far down. Arms on a ball joint go out to about that far. They do a full 360. Spins at the bicep. He is double jointed at the elbow. He spins and bends at the wrist. No problems there. Again, he does have a butterfly joint, and be careful with yours if you feel like you're forcing it too much, or if it's moving and just going back to that position. You're actually turning the plastic, not the peg, so do freeze them and then work that joint carefully. That's the best advice I can do, but the butterfly joint works going back and going forward. He does have a really good ab crunch, so we get really good posing going forward. Not so much going back, but more than likely you're going to have Spider-Man pose downward. Legs go forward to about that far. They go back about that far. Out. Still a little sad for Spider-Man. We should be getting more movement out of his legs. He does have a thigh swivel. He is double jointed in the knee. No boot swivel, but we do get an ankle hinge and a forward facing pin for rocker. So that's really cool. And that's Spider-Man for you. So let's actually take Spider-Man off screen, and then let's move on to Mary Jane. And so here we have Mary Jane out of the packaging. And before we get onto the figure, let's actually go on to her one and only accessory. She does come with this purse, although I have heard that they have used this before. This is actually the same bag seen with Hobgoblin and Green Goblin, although it actually fits the character really nice. I am glad that they included it. And you can have it over her shoulder or going around her like you saw in the beginning of the video. But I am glad that we do get an accessory with her, because it would have been a little sad if it was just Mary Jane, but something's better than nothing, and I would take a purse over nothing. So here we have Mary Jane out of the packaging, and I'm going to say I really do like this figure, although first looks, her head does look a little bit oversized, but it does make the body look a little smaller, so I am okay with that. So let's actually go on to her detail. She doesn't have as much detail as Spider-Man, but she does have quite a bit of detail. Starting with this really lovely face that they sculpted for Mary Jane. I really do like it, and her eyes just stand out really beautifully, those big green eyes. Luckily, I was able to get one that had her eyes facing straight. I have seen some where she has a lazy eye. You can see the freckles are nicely done. If the camera will focus. Focus on her, not my fingers. I don't know, the camera just doesn't want to focus on her. There we go. But yeah, she does have freckles painted on, and then her really beautiful red lipstick. Her hair is a red that goes into a really darker shade. So I'm okay with that. I know a lot of people say her hair should be brighter, but I actually do like the way it came out. She is wearing a tank top. Now, I do wish they had actually sculpted the tank top on her, because as it looks, it's just painted on. Yeah, it's just painted on, so there's no sculpting detail on her at the top of her tank top. She doesn't have any accessories, like no bracelets, no nothing. Her fingernails aren't even painted, so that's a little bit of a bummer. And then going on to her, continuing her shirt, we do get a little bit of detail right here, where we can see some wrinkles on her shirt. The jeans are really nicely done, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to see this jean mold again with Jessica Jones. For the most part, I think they retooled her calves, because Jessica Jones wears the boots, and Mary Jane just wears those slip-on shoes. But really nice detail on the jeans. They even have this nice faded wash color on them, and then they did paint her button right here. Again, really love the sculpt on the jeans, and hopefully this is the sculpt that they use for Jessica Jones. It looks really nice. So that's Mary Jane's detail for you, so let's actually move on to her articulation. She does have the standard Marvel Legends female articulation, so we do get a ball jointed head. She can look slightly up and slightly down on the ball joint. She does tilt her head left and right, although it is a little hindered by her hair. Her hair is a softer piece though, so you don't have to worry about that. She can look up about that far, again hindered by her hair, and she can tuck her chin all the way down to her chest, which is okay, I guess. So, moving her head back up. Arms on a ball joint go out to about that far. She does a full 360. She bends and spins at the elbow, has a hinge wrist that hinges in and out, and as well as spins. We do get a diaphragm joint where we get pretty good range of movement. You can see how far it moves forward. It leans back really far. It actually leans back further than it leans forward, so a little disappointed in that. We do get the swivel up here. Nothing in the waist, but I'm okay because we get the swivel right here at her chest. Legs go forward, back, and out pretty far. Her legs actually go out further than Spider-Man, so Mary Jane is more posable than Spider-Man. We do get a thigh swivel, double jointed in the knee. We get an ankle hinge as well as forward-facing pin for rocker. So really loving this set, and let's actually get these guys posed together so we can move on to my final thoughts, and we'll wrap up this review. So here we have Mary Jane and Spider-Man posed for my final thoughts. Something I forgot to point out earlier in the review is if you're wondering if the Peter Parker head fits on your pizza spider, yes it does. So you can actually have this Spider-Man with an unmasked head now if that's what you really want. But that's just a little tidbit in case you guys were wondering. Anyway, I really do like this set, and it actually was a pain for me to find. My Toys R Us only got about 4 of them each store, so that was only like 8 in the city. I called them on Thursday to actually have this set put aside for me, and they actually gave it to somebody who claimed they were picking it up for me, so they actually went out of their way to go out and get me this set from the other store, so I was a little upset, but I'm really glad I have them in hand now. They're such a fantastic figure. But I didn't pay full price for these guys. I actually got these guys at half off because of the way they just sold off the set that was supposed to be for me. If you're picking this set up, you are looking to pay in the realm of $43. It is a 2-pack, so you're basically paying $20 per figure. I do think this set is really worth it, especially for the Peter Parker head, or if you want an updated Spider-Man costume, because this is what he's wearing in the modern day comics. And I really do think Mary Jane is worth it, because Mary Jane on herself I don't think would have sold, but throwing her with Spider-Man, you know, that's really going to sell, because you can't have Mary Jane without Spider-Man. Overall, if you can find this set, guys, I really do recommend you pick it up. It is exclusive only to Toys R Us, so if you're looking for it, be looking in your local Toys R Us's, call ahead, see if they have it, ask them if they can put it aside for you, but be sure to leave your name and number so that when you pick it up, you can tell them your name, your number, and they can give it to you. Because my store, they took my name and number, but they still gave it to somebody who said they were picking it up for me. But like I said, I managed to get it anyway, so I can't be too upset. And I got it for half off because of that little debacle. But if you can find these guys, definitely pick them up. And with that being said, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews. All my Marvel Legend reviews are also up, so go ahead and check those out. And while you're at it, let me know if there's a figure you guys would like to see me review. If I can find it, I'll definitely take a look at it, if it fits in my collection. If not, so sorry about that. But until next time, I'm KingofDragons 5000, and I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.
My dream